Hi there, welcome back, and apologies for a bit of a delay since the last video. I think it's been about 2 weeks, and yeah, I apologise for that. Literally, it's been a combination of not having anything really to make a video about, and zero time anyway. So yeah, those two factors have ground things to a halt a little bit. But I've got a few little things to be getting on with now, so I thought it might be worthy of a video. The first thing I want to do is just mention Sinstrip and do a big thanks to a couple of people. GT from GT's Garage, an absolute star. When he saw how ineffective the Nitromorse was on the Bonneville tank, he contacted me and said, I've got some Sinstrip, I've got some left, do you want to try that? And I was like, yeah, that'd be brilliant. And he very kindly gave me a good bottle of that stuff, which is awesome. I love it. So I really appreciate that, mate. That was really great. And we also do need to do a big thanks to our man Yankee Doodle, who transported said hazardous materials down to the Ace Calf meet 2 Sundays ago, I think now. So thank you, mate. Without you, I wouldn't have got the stuff, and I really appreciate you bringing it down and going to all that trouble. So yeah, I'll put a link to those guys' channels. Oh, and Greg, mate, as well, was on the Bonneville tank thing. He gave me at the Ace Calf meet a set of the knee pads as well. So when this tank is done, I've got some knee pads to stick on it. So top blokes, absolutely brilliant, really nice. I've put a link to your channels, hopefully in the description. Yeah, brilliant stuff. So I'll put up a little bit about the paint stripper. I filmed a little bit of it whilst I was doing it. I am going to have to get some more to finish the job, but as I say, it's a bit of a back burner project, this one. But I'll put that up now so you can have a little look at Sinstrip in action.
So there we go. I mean, that doesn't, it's not so much stripping the paint, it's just literally dissolving and eating it. I mean, it's awesome stuff. That's down to the bare metal. And that really was not much of an application. I just simply used Jen's toothbrush and just dabbed a bit on here and there. It definitely seems to help if you kind of break the paint surface, you know, scratch it up or get some kind of cracks in the paint. That almost allows it to really get in there and kind of start eating away at it all. That's sort of the top sort of part of the tank covered. I'm going to leave that for a few minutes to start bubbling away and doing its thing. As I said last night, you could start hearing it bubbling, snap, crackle and pop. If that happens, I'll turn the camera back on and see if we can have a listen to it as well. But yeah. Yeah, we're getting there. Unfortunately, I've used up the stuff I had, so I might invest in a bit more. It's definitely good stuff to have.
So there we go. So great stuff, Sinstrip. So thanks, guys. Thanks to GT, to Greg, and to Yankee Doodle. Top guys. Really appreciate all you've done. I really do. But yeah, so that project's going to be on the back burner for a little bit, as and when. There's a few things that need a bit more immediate attention, and primarily that's the SR250. It's still just sitting here at my place. I haven't MOT'd it yet. I haven't even attempted to sell it yet, and I need to do that because until I've got that out of the way, I haven't got space, or more importantly, any cash to invest into another project, which will then go into making videos. So needs to be done. So Jen, bless her heart, managed to book me the MOT because I just couldn't seem to get my finger out my arse and get round to it. She was off, and so she booked it up. And yeah, so it's booked for tomorrow. It's Friday now. I've just got back in from work. It's booked for tomorrow morning. We went to a local one because it's easier to get the bike there than going to the custom place I would go to, which is about 15 miles away. So these guys are just down the road from me. they've had a look at the bike as well before it's gone, you know, before we go in for the MOT. And on the plus side, he was saying how it's great, it's fine, safety wise, everything's fine. It's fine to pass through the MOT. Everything works, everything functions as it should do, and does so in a safe and correct manner. The only thing that it's not going to pass on is the exhaust. He said it's just way too loud for him to pass it. Now, MOTs and exhausts in the UK anyway are a bit of a weird grey area. I think it's largely down to your examiner's discretion whether or not they let it pass. So obviously, like a more custom-y shop might have a bit more of a leniency towards louder exhausts, but these guys are just, you know, standard bike kind of garage, middle of the road kind of, not middle of the road, but you know what I mean, all sorts, not a particular genre of bikes. So, and he said, you know, it's kind of the way his rule of thumb is pretty much take what that bike should sound like stock and compare it to what you've got, and if it's, you know, not taking the piss too much, then yeah, that'll pass. But apparently the little bastard's taking the piss too much, it's a little bit too loud. So that's the big thing that I've got to do now, because I've literally got the MOT tomorrow morning, so I need to get it done tonight and figure out what I'm going to do. My first plan of action is going to be to get the baffle out of that. I haven't even touched that pipe at all really, apart from putting it on. So we'll have a look at the baffle. If it's anything like the ones we put on Jen's bike, there's going to be absolutely no wadding, so that might mean going up into the loft again, grabbing some fiberglass, packing that as tight as I can, and then maybe coming up with some sort of weird kind of system of washers and different chambers in there, reducing the kind of outlet. I've seen people even use like a Coke can on the end with holes punched in. I don't know, it's literally just got to get me past through this MOT, so I can be quite extreme, I think, you know, in the ways that I muffle the sound, because it's not being ridden continuously like that, so it's not going to affect the jetting and all that kind of malarkey. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan. Plan B, well, I call it a plan B. I've still got the original Bonneville silencers upstairs, which are as quiet as a hairdryer, and they weigh about as much as the SR250 does. They might work. Can't remember whether or not the inlet and outlet diameters. I don't even know how I'm going to mount something like that on there. That is literally, yeah, that might not even be a plausible plan. But let's go with the end can that we've got on there. But just before I start that, the other thing I'm going to have to do, this might not happen in this video, I'm not sure yet, we'll see how we get on, but my LSL chain guard, well, I was riding to work the other day, filtering through the traffic, heard a bit of a banging noise, rattling in the rear end, got to work, and check that out, where that mounts onto the top of the swing arm, that's kind of just stress, fatigue cracked and broken off. So that was banging on the chain all the way in, taking off most of the paint and worn a bit of it off, which is a shame, because that surprised me, because I stand by LSL stuff. I really like their stuff, and it's really well made usually. Couldn't tell you if this is a manufacturing error or whether it's just something that's happened. I've had this for about 2.5, 3 years maybe, yeah, I mean, it wasn't overly, I don't overly tighten them up on there, so I'm not really sure what it is. I do hit quite a few nasty roads bump wise on the way to work, so I don't know, combination of stuff, who knows, but the video was potentially going to be a kind of fixer-upper of this, and see if I can make a nice enough job to allow me to put it back on the Bonnie that I'd be satisfied with. And then I just went, nah, do you know what, I'm going to make life easier for myself, or so I thought, and just order a new chain guard. So I did order a new chain guard. I got one of the Mass Engineering ones. I used the Mass stuff on my mate Chris's Bonnie. If you remember a few vids back when I did a kind of cafe-esque type sort of thing to his, and that was the first time I played with any of their stuff, and I thought it was nice. I like the look of that one. It's very thick aluminium and quite a beef bit of kit. I thought, sorted, that'll do. Unfortunately, the LSL one, you'll notice, has got a notch at the top here. Whether or not that's part of their design, thinking that perhaps some of the people that buy these will be putting wider rims on the backs of their bikes, and therefore we'll cut a notch in to allow for that. This is really just for a stock one, and when you mount this, it is literally up against the tyre, where I could probably get a Rizzler between them, just if I'm lucky, and if I lube it up. So yeah, it's a bit too tight for my liking. So I'm going to have to notch my brand new chain guard. So that needs to be done as well. But MOT's tomorrow for the SL250, and I'm rabbiting on now, and I've got to get this done tonight, ready to do that tomorrow. So let's crack on. Let's pull open the exhaust, have a look inside it, and see what we can do. Okay then, so there's the baffle that's in there, which is just held in by this bolt. So I'm going to attempt to get that out now, and we'll see how much, if any, I doubt any, wadding is around that, and then go from there. Okay, with the baffle out, I shit you not, that is the sum total of packing material in the pipe. So I think we can probably improve on that a little bit. So I'm going to nip up into the attic and go and get some more fiberglass. That'll at least be a good start, wrapping it up, and then we'll I think try and reduce or make some different chambers inside there and see how that sounds once we get going. Okay, loft raided, and time to wrap it up. See if we can start reducing the sound a little bit. Must be one of the first videos where you're trying to actively make your bike quieter. I've never had to do this before. Also, I was up in the loft though, found a bit of copper tube, so that fits just inside here as well. So I could probably drill a load of holes in there, slide that through there perhaps. Maybe that might add a bit more stuff. This is all very much sound engineering, acousticsy kind of thing, which I have no idea about. You know, I play in a band, I ride a bike, both of those things I like to do loudly. I don't really understand about making it quieter, but let's get this wrapped first. Right, so that's a couple of rolls round of that, compressed down and then lock wide in place. So I'm just going to do a test fit now and see if that should hopefully all push into the pipe okay. And then I don't think that's going to be enough on its own. I think, yeah, I'm quite keen on doing something with the pipe. I'll show you what I meant, like, just looking at all the bits I've got. I've got bits from a heat gun that maybe I could modify. All sorts of bits and bobs. I'm just brainstorming at the moment. But it's like in the end there. Oh, sorry, here, let's put the camera back down on the tripod. So I might have to notch that and get that to fit in there somehow. That might, who knows, this is all a bit of experimentation for me at the moment. It's just a quickly kind of last minute bodge, literally a bodge. You know, I don't like doing bodges, but sometimes you just gotta. Okay, so this will be the tube that goes down the centre of the existing baffle, and then it will just be lock wire through it to hold it in place. Can't really tack it in place any other way at the moment. But yep, so we're going to try this. As I say, this is very rough, ready and quick. I literally have got a few hours and whatever materials I've got here at home. So yeah, this is kind of the Ray Mears MOT kind of styling. Right then, so that's going to go inside the baffle. Then I've just filed out a massive penny washer there, and then that will act as a kind of reducer. Sorry, let's move this round. So that's our copper pipe in the middle, and to stop that coming out, the penny washer will fit behind the nut there, and then the thread of that should poke through, and hopefully that will be enough to hold that in there as well. I might have to put a longer bolt in, but yeah, let's see. It's quite good fun this, but let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so moment of truth. It's all back on, so I'm going to wheel the bike outside and start it up and see if we've got any drop in volume. I hope so. probably heard there was quite a rattle, and that changed when I stopped the washer moving around. There's a little bit of free play where it's rattling, so I just need to sort that out. Probably put another washer in front of it to take up the space. I don't know, that seemed quieter, but we'll see. Okay then, I think we might have it. Putting another washer in the back there, so it's not vibrating now and making that awful rattling. And to my ear, it sounds about as loud as the stock pipe, really. Or am I just kidding myself?
Lovely!
Terrifying! There we go.
So what is this, Mr. Barnish? It's a Yamaha SR250.
Okay then, so to recap what we've got in there, I've now got a washer that end, the copper pipe down here with a few holes drilled in it, and two washers this end with reduced diameter opening out. It sounds, I think, quieter, but I guess we're going to have to turn off now, and we'll see tomorrow whether or not it's enough. Fucking filming.
Talking to yourself.
You just messed up 5 minutes worth of filming.
Everyone only watches it just to see me.
Fuck off.